Sadie. Good morning, Moshe.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Awesome.
Good. Are you or someone going to be on the call admitting people during the meeting? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I can't wait to go back to in-person meetings. Hopefully we'll be able to do that sooner than later.
Shai, I got a question for you while we're waiting.
Sure.
I didn't get a chance to take the NOC seminar. Are you going to address that in the meeting? For those who didn't.
No, not too much, but what you can do is there's a webinar that you can take that will give you the certification. So we can get that over to you.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
All right, we have about 7 minutes before we're going to get started here to have people jump on the meeting. How are you doing, Terry Vo?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Good morning, Miss Sarah. How are you doing?
Excited.
Excited for a fun meeting?
Absolutely. Hear all the good things.
Nice. Is that from the microphone? Colin?
Yeah, it might be. I'm gonna go check on it.
Thanks. We're doing a hybrid meeting where we have some people in the large conference room and in the workroom. So we're working out all of our bugs. Can you hear us?
Shai, can you hear us at all?
Yeah, I can hear you, but the background noise has stopped.
That's good, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I was like, what?
That's a good thing.
Okay, I like what background?
So is there a way to oversee where we're at here?
Oh, right here.
All right, guys, we'll get started shortly in just a few minutes. So we are doing something a little new. For those of you that keep your camera on during the meeting, you will get your name entered into a drawing for an Amazon gift card. So if you want to be bold and turn your camera on, we'd love to see some pretty smiling faces. We're not in person, but it's kind of as close as we can get right now. All right, and we'll get started in 2 minutes. So, did everybody have fun watching the Super Bowl? You can unmute.
Except for the parts where the Rams won.
Yeah,
I agree with Colin.
that was rough, huh?
I'm an underdog kind of guy, and I haven't seen the Bengals there ever. So it would have been nice to see them win, but you know, LA bankrolls it, so every team they have is all stars.
Yeah, hopefully next season we get a little bit different results than this year with our Hawks. I'm ready to be excited about football again. All right, so just a reminder, if you're just joining us, if you keep your camera on, Katie will be noting who has their camera on, and you will be eligible for an Amazon gift card. So let's have some fun and see some familiar faces.
How much is the gift card?
Oh gosh, I knew a salesperson was going to ask me that. What's it worth to you, Jamal?
$50 to see this shining mug?
All right, I'll make it 50.
Okay, cool.
Jamal, are you turning your camera on?
Jamal, the picture has to actually be there too. You can't just turn it on and cover it up with your hand.
Ah, see?
Yeah, no. Nice try, Mr. Salesperson.
I knew there was a catch.
Leave it to a real estate agent to try to find a loophole, right?
Just Jamal making trouble again.
Rick, where's your face, bro?
All right, well, it's 10 o'clock and you guys know I love to be punctual and on time. So friendly reminder, keep your cameras on for the meeting and you'll be in a $50 gift card drawing for Amazon. So I just want to start this meeting with a congratulations to all of our award winners. We had just astounding results this year. Most of you had record-breaking years. We had 72 award winners. So last year we broke our record for having 5 top 1% winners. This year we hit 6 top 1%. So I want to give a special shout out to Bonnie Matthews, George Graham, Moose Math, Phil Rodeker, Rob Condiotti, and the Van Pelt team for making top 1% of the John L. Scott Renton office. So congratulations, that was huge. We had 11 Chairman Elite, 15 Chairman Circle, 12 President's Elite, 11 President's Gold, and 13 President's Award, and 4 Emerald. So again, 72 award winners. I think that's just such a huge accomplishment. Also, for the first time, John L. Scott has issued a Lifetime Achievement Award. And basically a Lifetime Achievement Award is someone that has received top 1% at least 5 times. And it doesn't have to be 5 consecutive years, but Phil Rodeker and Win Van Pelt were awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award. So we want to give them a huge congratulations because it's such a major accomplishment. All right, so we're going to get rolling here. A couple training class reminders. So tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we are going to be doing our strategy on how to win in a multiple offer situation. This class has been around for quite a few years, but given this crazy market that we're in, we've made a few changes to help some brokers that are just writing offers over and over for their buyers. On Thursday at 10 o'clock, we have the Market Ready Plus program training. So if you're not aware of Market Ready Plus, John L. Scott has a program where upon approval, they will advance your seller funds to get work done on their home so they can maximize the price. So if you are not certified with Market Ready yet, you really should be, more so to just give your sellers options. Savannah Scott, a broker in the Bellevue, Maine office, she just did one on a multi-million-dollar property. And she said without doing Market Ready Plus, she believes they would have got roughly about 1.2 million for the house, and they sold it for 1.9. So this program is not just for, the fixer-upper homes. It can really be used in the luxury world to escalate the price. Also on Friday at 11, we have a marketing brainstorm workshop. So if you're looking for some marketing ideas or want some fresh things to implement in your business, that's going to be Friday at 11. And then next week, for those of you that need clock hours, we have two different classes, 3 free clock hours each. So if you're looking for clock hours, that's going to be on the 23rd and the 25th. All right, so moving along, I'm going to share my screen here, and we just have a few slides. Can you guys see this Lennox? All right, so most of you know we are John L. Scott corporate office. For 27 years. We were Camus doing business as John L. Scott, but we're corporate now. And Lennox is such a leader in the industry. So he was just ranked number 29 out of 200 for the most industry influencers nationwide. So we just want to give a shout out to Lennox and kind of everything he does for our industry and just keeping us moving forward. John L. Scott has also revamped some of our marketing. So most of you are familiar with our listing launch. And when a property goes on the market, you will receive an automatic email from Bear Printing saying, do you want to send this out to X amount of people for roughly $35? And there's a just listed, a pending, and a sold. Well, as you can see here, John L. Scott has kind of revamped the look of the postcards, which I think was a much needed upgrade. They've also put these little orange tags on here that you could insert information. So you could say like 15 offers received, or you don't really want to go how much over asking price at this point in time, but you can put taglines in there or how many offers received. This one here for just sold, they have sold in 4 days with 3 offers. So it's a fresh new look. Also, what they've added too is there's the new listing, the under contract, and the just sold. Well, if you want, 2 weeks after the just sold, you can send want to know your home's value and then market ready day 1. So you can do for 25 mailings for all 5 postcards for $99. Or if you want to send them out to 50 people, again, this is around the radius of the property. They'll send all 5 to 50 people for $99. So just want to let you know, this is all on my desk now through Bear Printing. But with that being said, I do want to give a little shout out to Sadie for our exceptional marketing program. So our staff was just recognized through corporate because we have such a high adoption rate of the listing launch and our marketing program. So don't forget, if you're looking for some really great marketing, we have a lot of in-house programs that might help you meet your needs. So moving on, John L. Scott, and full disclosure, I don't know a ton about this. I haven't been able to get a preview yet, but they are starting a luxury hour, and it's a webcast. And basically the whole point of this webcast that is on Thursdays is going to be to really help brokers stay in the focus of a full service, full commission mindset when we're going up against a lot of discount brokers. So this information will be sent out to you, but it's going to help you making sure your listing presentation is on point. Are you being a full service broker? Is that your approach to your listing presentation? How you can avoid certain conversations or objection handlers with discount brokers. So I think this will be a really fun one to attend and see a little more what it's about. Moving on to home evaluation week. So in a few minutes, I'll introduce Mark Spurbeck and Keen regarding HomeBot. But as you know, we are a huge believer in buy side, and HomeBot has really shown us kind of a whole different way to go about home evaluations. But John L. Scott did some research, and last year, March, April, and May, they've seen the highest number of homeowners checking their value. So it kind of really goes to what we're going to be talking about today. And whether it's buy side or whether it's HomeBot, the urgency to get this message out to your people so they know roughly the value of their home. They know what they can do with their equity. They know the opportunities. It's something that, you know, statistically, March, April, May is your highest time when you're going to get just people's interaction with these type of sites. So we wanted to throw that out there. Last year, just with buy side, because we don't have HomeBot stats, Renton alone did over 110 million in volume and 148 transactions from buy side. So if you're not using these tools, I highly suggest you jump on board. John L. Scott also has a new webinar that will help you with tips and resources and just different marketing pieces and things like that. You can take what you learn from buy side and adopt it into HomeBot as well. But this is just something you should really jump on board with so your database knows kind of what's going on. And here's the tips and tricks about navigating the suite, knowing what the consumer sees, marketing your home evaluation, where to find the leads, and the buy side support. So again, doesn't have to be buy side. I'm actually a little bit of a bigger believer in HomeBot, but you can adopt the same practices with that. All right. Moving on. The market. We all know we're a broken record, right? We're talking about low inventory, low interest rates. I think last year, if you had to put a name on it, it would be Uber frenzy. I think right now it's just like crazy Uber frenzy. If you go to a listing appointment and you think you can determine what this home is going to sell for, I would challenge you with that, because this is an amazing market for, you know, people that are selling. But you also have to realize that we don't have a crystal ball, and we have to just basically make sure that we know, does our database understand what's happening? Does our database understand the value of their home? Do they understand the opportunities, and what are the tools they need to help them sell a home to then buy a home? So make sure your messaging is on point with your database. Everyone's talking about now that the security and certainty for homeowners is more important than this massive equity. So realize, with a lot of research done and people are asking sellers, why aren't you selling? Certainty and security are trumping the money and the financial aspect. So that's huge. King County had the steepest drop in active listings, dropped 59% year over year, January to January. So obviously, basic economics, the higher the demand and the less the supply, the higher the value. So 59% is so substantial. None of us have ever seen anything like it, Saul included, who's like, you know, Moses in the real estate world. So it's this time to just start calling your database. For January, the average price in King County was a little over $892,000. So for some of us that have been around for a while, that's a pretty extraordinary price. Our median home price, $720,000 in all of King County. And we ended January with 0.49 months of inventory. So that means for some of our newer folks, if no houses went on the market from now, it would take 0.49 months. So just a hair under a half a month to be sold out and we'd have nothing more to sell. Last year at this time, it was 0.92. So we had just a hair under 1 month of inventory. So that's kind of where we are as a market. I'm sure you guys are feeling it with your sellers. Homes are selling fast at extraordinary prices. I'm sure you're feeling it with your buyers. Just the challenge of, getting an offer accepted in today's world and waiving every contingency and being, 100,000, 200,000 over list price. I'm sure we've all seen the home in Bellevue that sold for over $1 million over. So we don't have a crystal ball. We can't forecast what's going to happen. We just have to make sure we're educating our clients. So moving on, I want to thank Mark Spurbeck with Fidelity National Title and Keen Ing with Cross Country for bringing in lunch and doing our next presentation. We're going to be talking about HomeBot, which is kind of the latest and greatest new shiny object in real estate. But before we do that, Keen is going to share some information on interest rates. So interest rates are over 4% now, and that's going to be pretty scary to a lot of people. And remember, we have to get out of our own way, okay? People have a lot of money in today's market, and as long as we're educating them and breaking down what the payment difference is, that's what's most important. But Keen is going to share some different strategies on how to help buyers out the best we can. So thanks again, Mark and Keen, and I'll let you take it from here.
Yep. How's it going, everyone? Good morning. So first, yes, we'll talk interest rates. In early January, rates were still in the low threes, about 3.25. We're officially 1% higher than that. And we watched 1/4 that movement happen just in the last couple of days. So now that could sound really, really scary. I think that when we get attached to a rate that starts in the threes and we start to feel the fours, it kind of has this culture shock. A lot of your clients are not aware of this change yet. So I think that getting in front of that conversation is important. Now, just some basic math, so that way you can prepare. Most of our clients are funding loans between $500,000 to $1 million. And you should expect that their payment is going to be about $280 more if it's a $500,000 loan. And of course, double that, $560 if it's $1 million loan. So somewhere between around $300 to $550 is about how much of an increase they're going to see. How do we combat that? There's lots of different ways. But I want to address what I think are usually the most common ways that we address it with our clients. The first one is just the simple discount point method. Pay some extra closing costs, you can get a little bit lower rate. People have more equity, they have more cash. If you just tell them, hey, let's increase our closing costs a little bit from what you were budgeting. If you're willing to double your closing cost calculation, you can get it right close to halfway the difference between the two, okay? So that's an easy one. A second one is if they're doing less than 20% down and they're just going to get a loan from a BECU, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they don't give you an option to buy out your mortgage insurance. Give them that option if you can. That actually saves them more on their payment than buying down their rate for less of an upfront cost. Very often we can finance it in. And another one is just most people right now have a good amount of equity and a good amount of cash, as we all know, which is one of the reasons why people can put so much more down. And I know people have this common saying they don't want to be house poor, but it usually does work out way better if they just choose to take some of the money they have and say, look, I know your mortgage might be 300, 400 more than it was before, but let's just clear out some personal debt and reduce the down payment, because at the end of the day, a 4.25 fixed rate is still way cheaper than what they're probably paying on almost everything else. Now, if I get kind of math geeky on you, you need to have a loan of about $600,000 or larger if you're married to even get a tax deduction. Think about that for a second. It needs to be at least about $600,000 to even get an itemized deduction anymore. So with the higher prices and higher rates, it makes sense to finance more of it if the loan's around $600 to $750, because they'll actually be able to write some off. Because with the new tax rules, with the low rates, a lot of people have lost that deduction. Rates are a little bit higher. You have a loan balance around 600 or higher. They actually are going to get some of this deduction back, and that will help them with some of their costs. Okay. So that's what you should expect with interest rates. A couple of tips. I wanted to share that we have a new bridge loan. If you have clients that want to buy non-contingent, there are many different versions of a bridge loan. There's one that kind of collateralizes the new property and the old. Those, which Timberland Bank, WaFed, they have those products, are really good for a empty nester moving down. It doesn't work so well when they're trying to move up because they're combining the value of the old and new and see if the equity in the house is enough to be enough for the whole purchase. So if they're going up, it's hard for that to work. If they're moving down, it's amazing. Okay. Ours is not that product. Ours is just a second mortgage. It goes to 85% of the value of the departure home. It's just like they have a HELOC. Have you guys ever helped a person use a HELOC as a bridge? Basically the same thing, more fees, but you don't have to go through two loan process. You just pre-approve both at the same time, and you can get a letter to shop right away. And we fund both at the same time. Okay. When they sell their house, second mortgage goes away. So there's two different kinds of bridges. Ours is the latter of the two. It works best for people buying around $1 million to $1.2 million or less. Over that, it doesn't work great because we only want to use this product on a non-jumbo product, and the regular loan limits right now are $850 here. Okay, so if your client's buying around 1.1, 1.2 or less, and they're trading up, our product's good for that. If they're trading down, maybe talk to someone at WaFed or Timberland. They're really good for that all-in-one type product. Okay. Another product I wanted to share about just quickly before we get into HomeBot, I thought you guys would be interested. We have a lot of new programs, by the way, but this one I was most excited to share with you guys. It's a program that you guys qualify on your 1099 income only. That means you don't need tax returns. If you have a client who's self-employed and has 1099s, we will use that as their income, which includes real estate agents. No tax returns. It works, right? If your license is 2 years old, we can either go off of your most recent or your two most recent as an average. If you do the 2-year average, the pricing is better, and we'll let you put less money down. But we've been really, really strong on these alternative income products because unlike other companies, we have not been relying on other investors to create the product for us. When the pandemic happened, all the guys that were securitizing these loans on Wall Street all got laid off. And our leadership had the foresight to realize the products were going to come back, hired those people when they didn't have jobs. And so now we do everything in-house. We underwrite it, we fund it, and we deliver it to Wall Street ourselves. We don't send it to anyone secondary in the process. So we underwrite them exactly the same as we do every other program. I don't know any other lender who does it the way that we do it. So there's a lot of other programs we have. I thought I'd be most excited to share this one. We basically just treat your 1099 as if about 1/4 of the income is going to be expenses. The rest of it we let you use as income. So I thought that'd be pretty cool to share. All right, that's it for the mortgage update. Yes.
Do they still use your 1099 or is it different?
If you have 1099s, they're not going to look at your taxes. You literally just turn your 1099, shave off 1/4 of the expense of the gross income. Whether it doesn't matter if you're K1 or W2ing your income, doesn't matter. We don't even look at them.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't even know if you're S corping or not. Honestly. Yep. Good question. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Keen?
Nope.
I
Are you
highly
gonna be leaving that paper here?
There are some flyers here in the office that we'll leave in people's boxes and also at the main conference room. On one side, it has our how to buy non-contingent that talks about our bridge loan at the top. And then on the other side is our 1099 program.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's imperative that you guys have options for clients. In today's world of how do I sell my home and buy a home if they don't have a different source of income? So make sure you're talking to Keen or your lender about bridge loan opportunities, HELOCs. There's the knock program now that's pretty phenomenal. You can always do a rent back, but make sure you just have, in your tool belt options for your clients. Thank you so much, Keen. So next, Mark is going to talk about our the latest and greatest HomeBot.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Mark Spurbeck here with Fidelity National Title. It's been a lot of fun the last couple of years. Business has been very robust. It's been, your phone's been ringing, come list me. Market's been just on fire. As I started sitting down in October, starting planning for 2022, I started sitting down with a lot of different real estate agents and just asking the question, what are you guys doing? What's working for you? What's not working for you? And obviously tech comes up, right? So we start talking tech. I get a phone call from Saul about mid-November and said, Mark, what are you guys talking about? What are you doing? And, I kind of laughed and said, I'll just talk about tech. And so, meeting Saul 28 years ago as a title rep, I sat down with him and he said, okay, Mark, what I want you to do is I want you to put a plan together how you're going to call in my offices. How many of you guys talked to Saul and said, where's your guys' business plan, right? So I sat down, and this is right when you guys are transitioning from an old DOS MLS system to a new system. Sure. So back when you transition from an MLS, from a DOS system to a Windows system, so I found a niche in the market. I sat down and I put clock hour classes together on how to use a mouse, how to open a window, how to close a window, how to create a postcard, how to create a flyer. And that was the way that I really worked super hard on creating relationships. And then from there, here we are, fast forward to 2022, right? I'm still talking technology. Technology, there's so much of it coming at you these days. You got to figure out tools that you can use day in and day out that are simple. So as I started working with Saul, he had me talk with the team on different tools that I could use that were helpful for the agents that they could implement tomorrow. And different tools that I've already introduced to other agents that were working really well. And he said, Mark, I want to start off with a tool called HomeBot. He says, talk to me about HomeBot and how are you using it? So we put HomeBot together. And then he also said, hey, what are the other tools you're using? So we talked and laid out a program, which I'm doing for General Scott Kent right now, where we talk about HomeBot and how do we use Reevaluate? How do we use those tools to keep you in front of your customers, and then use old-fashioned handwritten letters to go out and stay in front of your customers based off of use and activity. So as I just started talking with the different loan officers, team came up first, and we started talking about HomeBot and why HomeBot is such a great tool. Keen, what are you seeing that's working for you as you're working and introducing HomeBot stages?
Yeah, so I have a funny past with HomeBot. HomeBot for me wasn't this cool technology that just came to the horizon. It was actually the exact opposite. I'm a core student, as you guys probably know. I've been in the core. Actually, I'm just about to finish my 10th year. My 10 years will be this June. It's kind of crazy it's been that long. And for, I'd say almost half that time, if not more than half that time, my coaches would tell me, you should need to sign up for HomeBot. And if anyone knows the core, they're not a big pusher of any form of marketing. They're not like market, flyers, billboards. Like it's the exact opposite. You talk to people, you have relationships, and you talk to people, right? That you break bread, you call people, you break bread, you meet face to face, belly to belly. So it was interesting to hear people keep pushing on me over and over again to do this new marketing. Now, when I didn't do it, my biggest thing was I said, you have me doing all these other things, and I don't want to drown with more business than I can't handle. So I got to wait until I feel comfortable with my team and whatever extra I'm going to get from it. So finally, it was about, I think, 3-4 years ago. Hard to tell the pandemic times. It may have been 4 or 5. Can't quite tell, but it's been a while. I finally said, okay, let's go for it. Rates were a little bit higher. Felt like things slowed down enough. Felt like we could handle it. Team was feeling really good. Fired it up and could not believe the response rate. And still consistently to this day, it's been, like I said, almost 5 years. Our open rate is about 85%. 85%. All of my past clients. If you want to know what it's doing, is it's not just telling them about value. The reason why it was so attractive as a mortgage person is it's keeping track of their equity. It's a very big difference in the conversation. You'll be surprised when I ask people, like in a refinance, how much do you owe? Let me think. I think about, they don't know. They're not tracking it. So to be able to say, by the way, your net worth because of your real estate equals this. That's a completely different conversation. Your net worth is really your liquid and non-liquid assets. If you liquidated everything, stocks, real estate, paid off debt with what you had, and then what do you have left over? Their house usually represents the biggest thing that pushes that number up. And so when they see that number moving up, it drives their conversation. And we get the emails all the time. Should I sell my house? Values have moved up so much. Can I refinance? Maybe I should go buy a different home. Like, what can I do with this equity, right? And then that starts to drive extra conversations, which is my favorite one for them is, if real estate's been your best investment and you like your house, let's go buy a rental, right? Let's go invest. Why not have 2 versus 1 work for you? Why not 3 versus 2? You know, I used to be a big fan of the 15-year mortgage. Used to do the whole Dave Ramsey thing. And you know, I think that Dave has some good tactics. And if you're going to give one plan for the whole country, probably the right plan, because it never causes a default. But if you believe in our market and someone says, I want to pay off my house early, I'm like, well, that's easy. Go buy a rental. And they go, what do you mean? Statistically, the point where your rental is going to have enough equity that you could just sell it and pay off the balance of your first will happen within 10 years. 10. And and when people say, oh, it's going to be really hard dealing with a rental and things break and so on and so forth, try paying 50% a bigger mortgage payment for 15 years straight. Your rental's not going to be that hard, right? And but people, because they're prepared for that, treat it differently. I think the way that people treat rentals is like, you know, there's never going to be an expense, and that's not the way you should handle it. But if you budgeted, you know, even a third of your current mortgage payment to cover those expenses, which is going to be a lot more than, you know, what's really going to need, then it usually gets you there. So I think it just drives these great conversations with people. And so for us, it was a no-brainer. And then of course, they've always had the feature that we can then partner with agents, which Mark can get into a little bit more.
So with that being said, I'm gonna do a quick little overview of HomeBot and what it does.
HomeBot is for loan officers and real estate agents and is designed to keep customers engaged and drive more transactions. Before we dig into what HomeBot does, our story really begins with your clients. At retirement, 83% of our wealth comes from real estate. Yet homeowners don't consider their home as an asset, much less a retirement strategy. In fact, homeowners leave billions of dollars of wealth on the table every year. HomeBot changes all that. HomeBot delivers a personalized, up-to-the-minute home value and financial strategy to your client's inbox every month that creates instant engagement. HomeBot is in your brand, so when they receive this information, it's as though it were coming directly from you, their lender. And it's automated. Once you upload your list, your monthly marketing campaigns begin. You simply set it and forget it. HomeBot sparks the conversation, educating your clients around refinancing, principal payments, buying the next dream home. It's keeping your clients in touch with you when they start having questions. It's not just for your existing clients. Your prospects will use HomeBot to understand purchasing power and explore new markets or investment opportunities. Meaning HomeBot is not only a client engagement platform, but also works great for generating new leads and referrals. HomeBot communicates with millions of consumers every month, and they are addicted. Email open rates are over 75%, and hundreds of leads are generated every month. At the end of the day, HomeBot is here to empower homeowners and prospective buyers by helping them make smart home decisions and build wealth.
So one of the things I really like about HomeBot, it's only delivered to the consumer via a real estate agent or a lender. The product is designed for those two industries only. So getting out and co-branding the tool with your loan officer is pivotal. Now, as I've been out talking with agents on buy side, my understanding is you have to add each customer one at a time. A lot of you, as I've been working with different agents on getting your database, how many of you guys have your databases currently today in an Excel format? How many of you have it in CRM? How many of you have it on a phone, a napkin, whatever it may be, right? So the main key is to get it into an Excel format, and we can upload it directly into the system. You know, as you look at different tools out there, in my 28 plus years doing title and escrow and looking at different tools and different solutions, I've never seen a tool that has a 75% open up rate. And think about that. If you send an email out to your sphere of influence or your geo farm and you get a 75% open rate, that's unheard of.
Honestly, I've never seen it below 80.
Yeah. So
Ever, personally.
Yeah. Okay.
In this market, it's been 80 and over.
So, you know, I always kind of go back to the thing. I mean, how many of you have seen this tool called Zillow? We all have, right? What happens when a consumer goes to Zillow? That information is captured and sold. There's real estate agents and lenders that purchase that information. You want to do everything you possibly can with your sphere of influence, your geo farm, to get them to come to your tools via Facebook, via your social media pushes outside of Facebook, your email marketing, your one-on-one calls, texting, all the different things you do. You need an automated system that's simple to use, to implement, that drives a 75% plus open up rate. So with that being said, our next slide, we're going to talk about how to get your data put into HomeBot. Super simple.
Hi, Charlie here from HomeBot. Today I'm going to show you how you can upload your clients in bulk. To get started, log into your account, select clients, and then navigate to the Add Client subtab. From there, select Add Clients in bulk, so you could go ahead and drag and drop that file. Keep in mind, we have everything you need to know about what is necessary for that bulk upload. You can see the last time you uploaded, find templates available for download, or click information here to see what fields are required. We do accept your exports from LOS or CRM tools. Just make sure that you have the minimum fields and review this to see what else you'd like to include. Once you have all of the fields necessary included in your file, you can just go ahead and drag and drop that here. I'm going to drag and drop my file, but of course you can choose your own by selecting the choose file. So I'm going to go ahead and drop in my template here. And I want to go ahead and notify the data team that I'm just uploading homeowners at the moment. I also want to let them know where these clients are coming from. Well, these are all clients I've worked with in the past, and I've vetted events. Once you've added your file, ensured all of the fields you have are included, click upload. And if that file is accepted, you'll see the success message. You can go ahead and send another file or reach out to us with any questions by sending us a chat here. We'll get that uploaded for you in 3 to 7 business days, and you'll start to see those clients added. Keep in mind, it's not immediate. It does take 3 to 7 business days for our data team to validate what you've uploaded, and we'll get that included in your profile.
Okay, so what I want you guys to think about is a strategy. You have your sphere of influence in your CRM, in your Excel spreadsheet, or wherever you have it. Now you have your geo farm. How many of you have a geo farm today that has at least a 6.5 to 7% turnover ratio based off the sales price you're looking for to target 500 plus homes? How many of you? How many of you would like to have a farm put together and have a tool called HomeBot push information out to them? Super cool. So number one thing, call the title company, Fidelity National Title, myself will help you out. We identify your geo farm. Does it have the right turnover ratio, the average sales price, or do you have buyers that want to move into a neighborhood to get a listing? Once we have the list put together, we have multiple tools that I can introduce you to that we can upload that database to come up with an email address and a phone number. Once we have an email address and a phone number appended to that property address, we upload them directly into HomeBot. The first thing HomeBot's going to do is what? Push out what's the value of your home, right? Super important. And if you get a 75% open rate on what's the value of your home, and as they're inside of the system, an email goes out, it scores them. You can have text messages go out. You can create landing pages, social media pushes to Facebook, all of that inside of one platform. So first, once we get everything uploaded into the system, you turn the system on, an email goes out. As soon as the email goes out, obviously 73+% open up rate. Now, the key here is once they open up their HomeBot and they start looking at the value of their home, they might come back and say, I know a house that closed a couple days ago right down the street and my value might be higher. Once they click on the little button that says verify this, you get a notification that Mark Spurback at 123 Happy Street is inside a HomeBot looking at the value of her home. And it's so funny, real life example. I work with another agent. I probably have 10 different agents that shoot me that I'm in their database on HomeBot. And yesterday afternoon, I opened it up and I started clicking around and I got a phone call from the loan officer and the real estate agent saying, hey, Mark, I see that you're looking around the value of your home. Is everything in there looking right? And it was just, and I was like, hey, how did you guys get this? Well, it was instant. As soon as I was in there, I got a notification that you're in the system looking around. Because I was clicking on different buttons, so it created a higher score for me. So obviously, if the fees aren't right, going back to what Keen was talking about on the equity in the home, do they have enough equity? Do they have and this pulls from public record. So if they have a first and a second, that information is going to be in the system. If they refinance, let's say in the last month, and that information is not uploaded into public record, it's not going to be on there. Just another opportunity for you to position yourself as the home consultant advisor working on the average American's #1 investment, which is their home, in tandem with your loan officer. I think it's a super important tool on how to position yourself in that direction. Now, Keen, when you talk about going from a 15-year, 20-year, 30-year, how many conversations do you have as a loan officer in that with your current customer base?
I mean, they don't really go, I mean, they present these different options, but I think that most people, when they see the payment increase to 15 years, they usually don't want to go that route. And I would say that with rates being low, it's not what usually we recommend anyways. And, we don't tell people what they need to do. What we more say is, you just ask the proper questions. And a lot of it has to do with their opinion of the market. If their opinion of the market is that real estate values are going to increase, then the rate savings of 15-year doesn't offset the difference of if they can save that money, put it somewhere else. I think the biggest thing is they don't know where to put the money. And obviously, even though the stock market's done really well in the last couple of years, the average consumer does not have a lot of wealth in the stock market. That's just the truth. The average consumer has most of their wealth in housing. So I think it's just a great opportunity to go say, well, then invest more in the real estate market. And that's when we usually bring up the idea of buying a rental.
So the other part of HomeBot, so let's think about this. You have a 75% plus open up rate. And then you have a 58% engagement rate. Now, they're not just opening up the email from you. Once they open up the email and they're inside of the HomeBot system, 58% of them are doing something in there. It's such a simple tool for the consumer that you are taking them out of the space of going to Zillow and keeping them in a secure environment where they're tracking their home, talking to the loan officer, talking to you as a real estate agent on being inside of a platform with a 58% adoption rate, which I think is fantastic. So now, once we upload the information into the system, you can say, okay, I have 500 emails that went out. I had 376 open. And then on the home views, 274. So there's the average of 75 open up and 54% engagement. And then on the buyer side, you can also put your buyers into the system and you can set it up with your IDX feed and assign them a zip code to look for homes. So as they're starting to look for homes, it's just another tool to stay in front of them if you don't use the John Scott platform for your buyer side. So yeah.
What is the automated, is it like once a month? Is it at the end of the month, beginning of the month?
They're usually getting something once a month.
Okay.
So, and there's other tools we can use from a technology standpoint, and which we'll talk about in weeks to come, a tool called Revaluate, which is a predictive tool that says that these individuals are potentially going to be looking to list their home and buy another home. And we'll get deeper on that. Basically, and what that tool is, when their score gets to a certain level, it will shoot a data call over to HomeBot, and HomeBot will shoot out an email and say, do you want to know the value of your home? So we'll get really deep into that next week or the week after. I don't know, Sadie and I have to figure out a time when we do that. So also, one of the things I want to talk about, Keen, is co-sponsoring. How does that work?
Yep. So if you have a lender that you want to co-sponsor, which we could do, and it's not just me. If you guys don't know now, I run a branch. Your old coworker Jason's actually here. He's a loan officer in our branch. You can partner with any of our guys in our office. But when you co-sponsor, it basically helps subsidize your costs, right? You get this monthly cost, building your database, right? We help with forking up that cost and how we do it. Of course, our goal is to be able to do business together. I'd also tell you that one other thing about HomeBot, this is my experience from it. The only things I mean, I don't want to take away all the millions of tactics of what you do with your database, but if it's a past client, they also let you do videos through HomeBot that go send to your clients. So I think that if you're doing a monthly video through HomeBot, let them do their automated stuff and then respond when they ask you a question and then reach out to the people who are on their most frequent, because they also send you a report that says, here's the people who have been most active. You get that, I think, like once a week, where it says, here's how these people visit. You'll see them in the last 30 days. This person's been on like 8 times, 12 times, right? If you just reach out to the people who are on there the most, answer their questions, do a monthly video. I gotta be honest with you, you could do like maybe a couple client events a year on top of that. And I think you're kind of done. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just telling you that from my experience, that works really well. And I like set it and forget it type marketing stuff. So, I feel like that's something that's very manageable, that no matter how, if your business grows, if your team grows, you get busy, whatever, it's easy to say, I'm going to do a monthly video. I'm going to respond to the people who ask questions, reach out to the people who are active, and then do a couple events a year. And that's enough that that you're in front of them, you really feel like you're holding your database and staying there professional. Yeah.
So when you say monthly video, you can actually like upload the video to HomeBot.
And it sends through their platform.
Kind of like Bob, like plug it
Yep.
in and then nice.
That's right. That's right.
Keen, can you repeat the question?
The strategy? Yeah, the question. Oh, yeah, the question was, can we send we actually do the video inside the HomeBot platform? The answer is yes. Yes, you don't need co-video or bomb. You just do it inside their platform, and it automatically sends out to everyone that you choose to if it's in your list. But usually, just do everyone. So.
And if you're interested, just email us and we're happy to send you an invite.
Yeah, our marketing platform, it's pretty easy. I don't do the videos often as I should. My wife tells me I should do it more. But but we do. But the thing we gotta do it's consistent is every month we have closings and we send our closings into the system and our database just grows. And then they do 90% of the work, right? Do an event once or twice a year, do a video here or there, whatever, right? You can do individual videos also to a person. So if you want to, if you were getting busy, you don't have time to call over people, if you want to send a personal video, hey, I saw you're on the system a lot. Just want you to know that here's some personal stuff that I've seen happening in your market. In case you thought it's helpful, love to chat with you sometime and send them that video. You could do that also. So you can send them individually or to the group.
So now let's look back to our strategy. You have a buyer that wants to buy into a neighborhood, or you have your geo farm that you're constantly marketing to month after month after month, and you want to leverage Facebook. So step one, we identify that neighborhood or that geo farm. We submit it off to a third party that comes back with email addresses and phone numbers. We take that Excel file, we upload it directly into HomeBot. What's the value of your home? That's step one, right? Step two is, what is the message? The message is you have to hit them via email, you're gonna hit them via social, and you're gonna hit them via paper. So one of the things that Shai talked about earlier is when you take a new listing, you guys can use Bear Printing to do the circle of marketing, right? You take that same addresses and we upload them as a custom audience into Facebook. Once you're inside Facebook, then you log into your HomeBot and you want to share. So it automatically will create a landing page. What is your home worth? So you click on what is your home worth? Here is the what is your home worth? And you post it to that group that you created, which is your geo farm or the neighborhood that you're going to target. So you're mailing them, you're pushing an email with HomeBot, and you're doing a custom audience inside Facebook, pushing the same thing. So now once they click on what's the value of their home, it takes them to a landing page. Now, I'm inside Facebook every day. I don't do a lot of pushes out, but I'm constantly looking at Facebook for new listing opportunities for me to connect with you as a real estate agent. And a lot of here's the new listing, here's the picture. And you don't have that real true lead magnet tool to capture their property address. And once they put their property address, their email address, you will get a notification that the individual now has logged into the system. Here's their name, here's their address, here's their phone number, and now they're inside HomeBot looking at the value of their home. So now you've created a lead capture tool. So I think that it's super important that we look at HomeBot, not just for your sphere of influence. You're looking at for buyers you're working with to find a home in a neighborhood. You're looking at your geo farm and how you can provide another technology platform to get in front of them to track the value of the home. You're putting, I have one agent that has a QR code on every postcard that he sends out. And then on the QR code, it drops them right back to HomeBot's landing page to get the value of their home. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to utilize the tool. So, again, one of the things Saul talked to me about is like, Mark, don't make this so complex. How do you sit down with an agent, step one, and get a database put together? Is it in your phone? Is it in your CRM? What is it? So the next question I have for you, and I want to get together with all of you on this one, is how many contacts do you have in your cell phone where you don't have a property address attached to it? How many of you log into Facebook Messenger and you see all these names of people you know, but you don't have a property address? I have a tool that we use, I'll set you up with, it's ineedyouradress.com. And you type a little message, hey, I'm updating my database. I'd love to touch base with you. Put that in there, shoot it out. They click on a button, it pops open, they put their information in, and it automatically starts creating your database for you. So it's super simple, super easy. And then the next step we're going to talk about in the next coming weeks is a tool called AM Cards, which is the old-fashioned handwritten cards that attaches with HomeBot, attaches with I need your address. As soon as the information's filled out, it generates a handwritten card as if you wrote it and mails it to that address. So super interesting technology, but it's very simple to use. In closing, Keen, do you have anything?
It's funny because you mentioned the Facebook stuff. If one thing I've noticed is that people tend to get drawn into groups on Facebook. I don't know if you guys, there's a social media platform that's meant for neighborhoods. I personally don't ever use that one. Next door. Does everyone use that? I don't know.
It's annoying.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If I were going to try to be a local expert, if like my own neighborhood, I would see if there's already a Facebook group. I would start it. Then you guys are the moderator, right? I'm just telling you because like the groups I'm in, the moderator controls all, right? Like there's some investment groups and stuff that we're part of, and it's like they're like the masters of this domain. You let it be the neighborhood Facebook group, which is a way better platform, and then just push this link out once in a while, right? I think it'd be really, really smart. But I think that, if I was going to try to do something on Facebook, I'd probably, I like free stuff. It's all free, and you get to control it. But I think that also the conversation about like controlling the conversation that happens in the space of Zillow, we've all been afraid of what Zillow was going to eventually do. They've showed their hand. They want to replace you. They want to replace us, right? And the only good news that we have is that they are so cocky, they thought they could do it in one swift, and they kind of fell on their face. So while they're falling on their face, if you can actually match them in a platform that they built on, and right, you can keep that conversation away from them, because right now they're kind of reeling. And I think that there's a space where you can be that expert, give them all the information that Zillow's been doing for years, to keep them with the local expert that really helps them versus pretending like you can do everything online with a click of a button, right? So pretty much it.
That's it. Anything else, Sadie? Shy?
Anybody have any questions? I know Mark is available to meet with you one-on-one if you want to find more information, or you can always come and talk to myself or Katie. But this program has been adopted by quite a few brokers in our office, and we are really seeing not just the engagement, but we are starting to see business come from this. So for the price and the convenience, I highly suggest looking into it to see if it's right for your business.
How much does it cost?
$25 a month.
Is that right?
That's with co-branding.
$25 a month for everything?
That's if
we
you
just saw?
co-brand with a lender, and that's up to 500 names. And then anything beyond that, I believe, is $10 extra for an additional 500, but that's a co-branded price with the lender.
So like everything that we just saw in this demonstration was $25 a month for up to 500 clients?
Yeah.
Remember when I said I like things that are cheap that work? I mean, like it fits the bill, right? Like I don't like things that cost way too much money and it just works. And it's for me, any kind of marketing I do, like once I establish a part of it, if it's not super easy, super effective, where I basically respond to it saying, well, that's stupid. Why didn't I do this earlier? That's pretty much the only stuff that I do long-term. And this was definitely one of those that when I finally did it, I thought, this is stupid. I should have done this a lot earlier. And so that's probably the best advertising I can give to it. How often is it that we're in a space where lenders are like, please, we want to help you with a shared marketing thing. If it costs too much, like the stuff that Zillow used to do, it can work for a while and it can collapse under the cost, right? And this is just one of those that I've never gotten close to that being the case, right? Just never, ever have I ever felt that way. It's so affordable.
And what I like about this tool, I have agents that do 2 transactions a year. They're brand new, just starting off. I have agents that do 117 transactions a year using this tool and everything in between, because it is something that's needed in the marketplace. It's simple to use. And with a 75% open up rate and a 58% engagement rate, there's nothing in the market like it. And it's a tremendous tool.
And honestly, because they send out emails monthly, we have clients that email Keen and say, hey, I seriously didn't think you remember me. And it was really nice.
Yeah, they really keep you engaged. They really do.
We have a question in the chat about whether or not you have to co-brand this, and what does it look like if you don't?
You just pay for the whole thing yourself. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, for me, I'm only co-branding on the people that asked to co-brand, right? When I signed up for it, it was 100% just I'm paying for it, and I can still say it was worth it. So yeah. It just gives you have to remember the content is driven to have both conversations, right? And so if I had a lot of people who, when I signed up on my own, I'm like, okay, who's this client attached to? Because they're asking me questions about selling and buying, you know? And so it's really designed to drive both conversations, the real estate conversations and the lending questions. So.
And like they touched upon a bit earlier, you know, I really encourage you to look at this beyond your database. This could be great for your database, for your farm, for circle prospecting, new listing. If you really want to start leveraging your listing, leveraging if you're trying to list in your farm in your neighborhood, you know, if you're going to do this, go one step beyond your database, and you could see some pretty amazing results.
So thanks, Shai.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Keen, and thank you, Mark. We'll be available for questions and get back to you guys. And yeah, the website is homebot.ai. Well, I guess it's right there on your screen. If you want to check it out further, just come in and chat with us. 2 other really quick things. I'm sure you guys have all heard about the data breach with the Department of Licensing. So long story short, 650,000 people were or could be affected by this. It's everyone, not just agents, but everyone with a professional license. The DOL is said to be reaching out to you if you are on that list. But if you are worried about it, they are recommending that you remain vigilant with your accounts and also consider like a fraud alert company or security freeze or something along those lines. I have yet to hear about any brokers, not only in our office, but Kent North or corporate. I haven't heard of anyone specific, but we'll definitely keep you posted. And lastly, and more so just a friendly reminder, every market needs a new playbook. Okay, so we have all been riding this great wave. I think the wave's going to continue with a few little ripples here and there with inventory, with rising rates. So we're trying to give you guys all the tools that you'll need to maneuver the different market. But remember, we do offer accountability groups, or if you ever meet and want to go over your goals. So in a market like this, you need to make sure you're very zeroed in on your why. And the more you're zeroed in on your why, the less complacent you'll become. It's great in a market like this. We're making a lot of money. We're working really hard, but you need to keep that momentum going and make sure you maintain your growth mindset. So if you ever want to go over your why, your goals, your business plan, Katie and I are available. If you really want to kick it up a notch and join an accountability group, I would love that. Reach out and let me know, and we can see, you know, where you match with the group. So thank you everyone for coming. We had 23 people turn their cameras on, so I appreciate it. The contest worked. We will reach out and let you know who the contest winner is by tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.
Don't worry.
Thanks, Shai. Have a great day.